And if you're playing on the attack, make sure that you're pinching out those solo roamers, because those are easy kills to get. And I wonder why they have not been so successful on them here. Members only, but we'll head into map number 2. Consulate, it's members only to start off with the bans on the attacking side, and they'll remove the Glass again.
So Glass actually banned from Elephant Gang last time around. So I mean, Glass just in general is I think a pretty good choice here on this map. I mean, Glass is oftentimes he's not just a powerful operator to have to deal with, but he's also very oppressive depending on the way it works. And you know, for a team like Elephant Gang who are going to have those 5 first rounds on attack, it's very easy for a Glass to be able to cut off complete rotates and hold line of sight on most of that second floor of console office. When you look at garage, once you open it up, they're able to cut off the garage rotate as well, and you can have Glass play in an area where he can hold pipes all the way over towards this, you know, the white van. So it's very difficult to work around that. Elephant Gang will respond by taking out Blackbeard. So once again, Lion will be on the board. We saw Elephant Gang run Lion on the 1 attacking round they did. I'm not going to be too surprised if we see them trot him out here quite a fair bit.
Ying is definitely a possibility as well if you're attacking at the projector room. So she's been a very powerful operator. Bounce your equipment into that room and go for a quick peeks. We have the same if you're attacking into basement. So overall, removing the 2 operators that are most well known for just holding angles the entire round and cutting off rotations, it's a great thing here for members only to potentially play for retakes. Maestro being removed will make things a bit more complicated, as you already didn't have to deal with smokes, so part of the Evil Eye's benefit is off the table. But Mira being the second operator to be removed, in my opinion, as an avid Mira aficionado, I don't think she's that great of an operator on Consulate compared to other maps. I think other maps definitely showcase her ability a lot more, like, for example, Coastline. Here on Consulate, she's a great addition to have, especially if you're playing the basement. She's not always your go-to operator. You're mostly focusing on having 1 mirror window in the basement, and then depending on how you're holding in lobby, basement, or even in the top floor by the console chambers, maybe you'll run a 2nd mirror window in the bathroom. Not always the case. Kind of limited usage on here. I don't completely agree with the ban, but we'll see how that works out. It does leave things open. In general, we're going to see a bit a combo with the smoke and the echo for members only, as they'll try to play that to their advantage. Elephant Gang in the meantime, very first round, Lions out for K9.
Yeah, this doesn't, nothing really surprises me here about what we're seeing from Elephant Gang, and it looks like we might actually be having some server issues. So, oh, there we go. It's good. Oh, it appears to have fixed itself. That was very interesting, to say the least.
They were moonwalking.
They were the best Michael Jackson impression that they can give, as it's quite a tribute there to the King of Pop. It does appear that we might actually keep on going. I don't know. That looked like it was actually quite an issue with the server, more than anything. But speculation doesn't really get us much. It just means that we're going to go and just straight live into action here. Now, when you're looking at console, likely you're going to see very few teams contest admin, especially without a Mira. And admin is going to be the first place that most teams are going to look to come in here when they're attacking that 2nd site or that 2nd floor site. Now, the way that you clear Consulate obviously is always going to be top down. So depending on the way you read it, you can possibly try to clear console if it's a garage or lobby take. You can try to start on admin. Like I said, not a lot of teams will invest that heavily in admin. They'll usually let you have it, especially on that 2nd floor. Typically, your defense stack up will hold somewhere, maybe if you're holding close to admin, in that copier style area just by the kitchen, or you might hold yellow stairs and likely have somebody try to play and contest piano down on that main floor, because piano is going to be very important in terms of applying pressure underneath, and as well if you're going to be attacking downstairs in that garage. That is a pivotal spot here on this map. Piano is very important on all 3 of the major sites, and even somewhat on that Teller's Archives site here.
The important part is that members only are going for a completely different style of play. They realized what was happening with the roam play last round, and a bit of damage here being exchanged. It's the Jaeger taking 25% damage, as both the Jaeger and the castle are playing downstairs, so in the lockers area. They're looking to bounce back up and take down those more utility-based operators like the Lion or maybe the Zofia if they can catch her off guard. But, as you mentioned, admin has been completely controlled. There wasn't really a big fight happening, but now it's an easy pick onto the wall, looking down into projector room, and Avian should be able to have one hole at least to play with. The Claymore has been set up as well by Elephant Gang, so they're looking pretty darn safe here to deal with everything, and the Habana should be able to open things up very efficiently. We'll have to deal with the hallway as there is one ACOG available for members only, but losing the smoke here leaves the site completely open. You don't have the Blackbeard and the Glaz to hold off the rotation from Connector, but there's still quite a bit of damage that you can do before getting on the site, and a plant should be much easier.
The only saving grace right now that we see for members only is that they have opened that one wall completely up, allowing them to hold control from all the way over on yellow and bathroom, which is what we see. Using this Lion, not only is the castle's position going to be given away as he blows open that castle barricade atop spiral stairs, but it will also cost them one of Gavin's yokais. Excellent excellent tracking here as I stumble over my words. From Ghost onto Timsy, and Pagos trying to get back in will manage to take out what little was left of Ghost. Yokai drone going down, and it does appear to have hit Avian, but doesn't really matter as the damage is done. Diffuser down, Pagos picks up his second kill, and Gavin looking to try to find one himself. Can't do it right now. UMP putting work into Trip, and K9 has been downed, and it's all up to Pagos. Very little HP left as Gavin has been downed as well. They'll both need to be picked up, both him and K9. Very difficult for the castle, but he'll spend some time, very little is left, to pick up his teammate and have to work against the Hibana holes. Trippin now trying to put in some fire onto both Pagos and Gavin, but can't do it. Avian downstairs, creeping all the way back up Visa stairs. Timer just about out as it starts to get worked away on, but there's a Claymore, a Ghost, and Avian getting the kill onto the Diffuse Destroyer, and that will be 7 rounds in a row for Elephant Gang here.
Looking into admin, the Claymore's right there. It's a very unfortunate position as the retake was very possible even with the little time that was left. Unfortunately, great use of the Claymore, as we mentioned it early on in the round, and we mentioned in the previous map. There you go. Gets the victory. And Elephant Gang, it's a pretty hard-fought victory, I have to say. Even with the way that Elephant Gang were successful initially, the retake was very possible for members only. They had a few mistakes. The castle that was holding off in Spiral Staircase, he was ready to impact the barricade and move in. Unfortunately, the Lion was popped at the perfect time and couldn't really do much as he was detected. Even though he survived pretty darn late into the round,
attackers need to locate and
the damage was not done as it was planned by members only. But I do have to commend them on the closest round we've seen them play so far.
It really came down to the wire there, and I think more than anything, a big part of that, like I said, was that wall. All of Elephant Gang's focus happened to be on the admin and projector/meeting hall side of things. They didn't really invest anything whatsoever in console office. They had no yellow stairs pressure. They had no real spiral stairs pressure. Their aim was attacking through admin, which was left completely open by members only. Situate yourself at long desk, which was Ghost's job, trying to figure out where the cross was going to come, and then be able to get into the projector area/meeting hall. And really overall an excellent job for members only to make sure that that push on the site came with very minimal time left on the clock. And that was something that Elephant Gang didn't really seem to account for. That Jaeger kill to start things off here from K9, or that Jaeger interaction with K9 downstairs, probably should have been a kill. Didn't really make much of a difference, but I think that would have given a bit of peace of mind to Elephant Gang to be able to push, because the Jaeger immediately rotated over to yellow stairs and helped control that part of the map while being able to have that entire view into Connector and then the projector room upstairs. So interestingly here, they'll head downstairs to Garage as we transition into our second round, and once again, admin completely uncontested, and they'll just be able to waltz right in as console office also uncontested. So minimal roam presence from members only.
Yeah, but top-down clearing, as you mentioned in the previous round, a very standard way of doing it. A lot of teams have been getting more into the playstyle of coming in from the top side as the defenders and trying to shut down your opponents with vigil play, for example. But here, it's a mute defense in the bathroom. Unfortunately, not the entirety of the wall is reinforced here, which is a bit odd. Usually you reinforce everything and put mute jammers down to make sure that the mute can not be contested easily, and usually he'll grab a couple kills before dropping down. Yeah, the hatch is open, but you can even make it more difficult by reinforcing the hatch. And we've seen teams like, for example, NCU in the past doing it at Pagos, holding the angle. He'll get one, can't get the second onto Trippin. Will be him taken down. So it should be an easy kill here on the Bandit batteries, as obviously the yellow stairs have already been taken by Elephant Gang. It's a 1-1 trade. Losing the buck is a pretty darn good start here, and Elephant Gang will lose the second, the refrag instantly from Ghost, and that's the scary bit. Whenever you want to have an advantage as members only, there's someone from Elephant Gang holding the cross angle to make your life a bit more complicated. Wicked! What a sick shot through the hole. Gets the shot on Ghost, and there you go. That's the advantage that members only have been looking for, and now the hard breach is all up to Avian with K9 holding the cross angle.
And whether they've been able to clear this out, great Bandit tricking, but K9 is there. He'll stop it, and that should be able to get the garage as well. Bandit trick did not go quite successfully, but perfect time for that plant denial. Wicked will get a smoke off, and of course with only the 2x Kairos there, it's not a big window for them to be able to get in through, or doorway, depending on how you want to call it. Still, a logic bomb remains for the Dokkaebi of K9. He can effectively silence one member of members only, as it won't affect the Echo whatsoever. Plant going down, hit by both the Yokai and the Toxic Babe, means that the Hibana of Avian will have to pull back. There's the logic bomb going off, and it should alert them as to where the smoke is if he hasn't silenced his phone in time. They're going to go frag chasing here as the smoke gets spotted, but no! It's a miss from K9, and the first round on the board for members only as Wicked picks up the double kill to stop things. The smoke being quite potent, and that Yokai drone needing a lot of commendation for its ability to disorient the Dokkaebi on what could have very easily been a kill for Elephant Gang. Excellent round in the dying seconds for members only.
Yeah, the smoke getting 3 kills in that round. One pretty darn oof. And then continuing on with 2 more. Just holding off in that lunchroom. So, yeah, members only played it perfectly. Exactly like they should have. The frags were on Elephant Gang's side. They were refragging every single time members only try to go for some sort of advantage. However, this is where members only starting to warm up to this match, and not a second too soon, really. You already lost the first map. You should start getting into better shape here, and this will be a huge morale boost for the team, as you mentioned, this is the first round that they win in the past 8. So they're going to feel much better about themselves. It's like, okay, boys, we got this. Let's see how we can play this one out. They're not unbeatable. We just have to play things correctly like we did in the first round, and very much commendable effort from them. The very first one was a close retake that did not end up working for members only. And then the second one is a victory downstairs. Even though that garage site has not been super successful nowadays, with a lot of teams opting for lobby and for the console chambers to play.
I mean, Garage is tough because it's one of the rare sites where Mira really does help you be able to anchor it down. And I know that you mentioned here that
it is the only site that really works well.
I mean, Mira can also work in bathroom on that first floor as well for lobby. But I mean, she has quite a significance here, as Marcy was showing off the typical spots that you would see Mira windows go down for those defenders. And I mean, she's an operator that has gone unbanned quite a number of times on Consulate, actually, more so than I would say probably most of the maps. I would say that she typically ends up getting a fair bit of play here on Consulate. Anywho, I think that her ability to shape this map is really important, especially on Garage. And now that we don't see a hard breacher ban coming out every single time, Lion has inhabited one of those operator bans more often than not. I mean, he doesn't now, but usually he does, and teams won't bother to go with a Thermite or a Hibana ban. Because of this, it makes holding Garage a lot more difficult when you have both Thermite and Hibana available. Kind of a moot point in the grand scheme of things over the last couple weeks, because we've seen teams take Garage without any hard breachers as well. So there's a lot of different ways to be able to do that, especially since server-focused rushes seem to be, or server-focused pushes seem to be the go-to for a lot of teams.
Yeah, and you know, it's been working out with a lot more hard breacher bans. That's really a main thing for it. Trippin taking quite a bit of damage there, falling all the way up top, but other than that, it's just very silent early on with 1:30 left on the clock. So Elephant Gang kind of taking their time here, as for once, they're a bit on the back foot. Members only have put them off their game for just a bit, but what Elephant Gang are trying to do by putting these 2 operators here the Zofia and the Buck is to make sure they can get into A with having hold of the rotation through the connector room. Now, the grenades have been bounced in to do no damage, but the potential to get into sight and go for a plant is definitely here. But members only are relying on the mute to shut down any information gathering from Elephant Gang, but also mainly the echo there. Make sure the yokais can do the work against them. Now, they put them up very aggressively in front. Need to make sure that it doesn't go down, or this can be a very quick plant, because we already see the Habana holes that have been opened up through the main desk, and you can look directly into A, where exactly Elephant Gang are looking to plant.
I'm not very happy with the way that Elephant Gang is doing this. They're going to get a freebie off of Sync. Trippin is down. Ghost taking a lot of damage. K9 trying to go for the plant amidst the Toxic Babes, whether he'll stick it or not. Neptunes gets felled as well, but a double kill will come out on behalf of Elephant Gang. Trippin and Ghost getting in on the interaction. Pagos on the ground waiting to see through those double windows inside a meeting hall if somebody's going to peek him. And Logic Bombs will force both him and Wicked, the last two members of Members Only, to reset their phones. Wicked will do so. He's going to have the SMG-11 in hand and need to try to take a fight at medium to long range, which is not as easy to do after the recent changes. His position will be given away, and there's a good crossfire here. No chance whatsoever against Ghost, and Pagos now realizing he's got Trippin available. He sees another, but Ghost will seal the deal, and with Diffuser down, ultimately a very easy hold for Elephant Gang, able to leverage the fact that they did have that 4v2 advantage, and you just need to hold your angles. Nobody get too greedy, and that patience pays off.
And that's the thing. Not having the player inside a projector to deal with any operators moving in to the site. However, the reason why members only were not doing that is because they're expecting the hub on hole to just open things up from the desk area. So there's not a lot of options to make that wall unclearable by the attackers. At some point, you will have to walk away from the site. It's just unfortunate that immediately they fall back from the site, play from the bathroom, play from the CEO chambers, and then don't really have a way to fall back onto the site because they don't have a hold of the rotation from the back stairs to come back from behind their opponent. There's usually a Claymore that's set up as well in the back by Elephant Gang. You have to be very careful, but you also can't focus all of your manpower to move in from the front and face a frontal assault against attackers that are already set in post-plant positions, and all they have to do is watch the angles that have already been pre-opened. So it is a complicated position. If I'm members only, I'm thinking, how about we don't play CEO anymore? And that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to go for lobby.
Yeah, I mean, the lobby's going to be an interesting one here because a lot of the way that the lobby defense holds up is very similar to the way that you're going to see console office upstairs.
Yeah.
You're going to have people playing inside of meeting hall, which is up top, which we call projector for those that are curious. It's up on that second floor. Yeah, you see there's the projector there on the right side of your screen. Well, would you look at that? A lot of people just call it projector because meeting isn't always the call that happens for it. A lot of people just call it projector. So you're likely going to have somebody hold up there. I would be shocked if we don't see anybody from members only playing up at that angle. But it's also taking members only quite a bit of time to find their footing here in this round, as they're still doing setup work. And they don't even look close to being done the setup. And it took 20 seconds to get into that round until we saw them in a position where they might actually still be doing work. It also doesn't look like there is anybody actually upstairs in meeting hall. That is pretty damning if that's the case up in projector. If there's nobody playing in projector, that is a huge mistake from members only because that is entirely free real estate. And yeah, this is a lobby defense and there's nobody that's up there. There you go. Finally, Timsy very close, but that's it. You don't have a shotgun up there. You've opened up no holes in the floor. You don't have the hatch either reinforced or opened up. This is peculiar. And if Timsy does opt to leap out onto the balcony, he'll find himself getting destroyed at the hands of that Claymore. First kill is going to go to Pagos onto Neptunes. Wicked just narrowly missing one. Oh, and Trippin doesn't look down. An easy kill for the Rook, and it seemed to be a setup that very much favored Elephant Gang, and now Avian's gone as Gavin's going to jump out, and this has not even been able to get started. A minute and 20 seconds in, and it's a 5v2 in favor of members only.
What do we know, Parker, right? Honestly, this entire strategy revolves around the aggressive play, and members only just kind of, as we mentioned in the pre-map analysis, they went for the aggressive plays, And that's what blindsided Elephant Gang. They were not expecting this sort of play. They were more expecting a standard default play of, hey, we're just going to put like 2-3 players upstairs and we'll try to hold you and peel off bit by bit, use the hatch to drop down. But it's working pretty darn well. And members only also have the pulse with the hatch open to the lockers. So it's a very easy to chuck down a C4 up there and hit all the way to the back and get the kill. Unfortunately, tossed too early, and it's K9 to fall back. He takes no damage from them, but Ghost gets tagged pretty darn low. He's spotted as well, and Synced will get the kill, and that's Diffuser now in the hold of members only, with Gavin getting the last one. The Echo MP5 SD, members only to get yet another round.
Ultimately, a great round there from Gavin at playing very aggressive, as you noted, on that Echo. And honestly, that setup from members only really confounded me. It was very surprising. The way that they played that, the aggressiveness. You know, you've got somebody playing downstairs watching yellow in garage. You've got an ACOG and they're playing a close range when that Rook very easily could have been in a situation where he's playing over by white van and he's holding still a similar enough angle so that when an attacker does make their way around that one pillar at the bottom of yellow stairs, they'd be very exposed to that MP5. Still, Wicked finds himself in a position where he's very susceptible to getting, you know, pushed and killed. Then, of course, you've also got the fact that I don't know if the drones from Elephant Gang were able to determine that, hey, Projector really only has one person in it. It's the Jaeger. We can easily flush him out. There was no ADS up there. It didn't look like there was any gadget or utility or setup at all.
The bait into yellow stairs.
And I mean, it was easy enough that they possibly could have taken Projector very early and then put a push through that main lobby, especially with the fact that Maestro was banned and there was a set of smokes on the board for Elephant Gang. So overall, a very interesting setup for members only that was very confusing, furthered only by the fact that the play of Elephant Gang was even less straightforward. It was almost a bit of an absurd round from both teams in the grand scheme of things and how we saw that play out. So
yeah, here we were at that moment just explaining how this is very odd. I'm not sure if this is going to work. Not really what you usually see, and then 3 kills just kind of happened for members only and give them the advantage in the round to take it at the end. But now we head back down to Garage, or a site that members only did play and did win before. Now, the setup is fairly slow, as you mentioned. The mute is still setting up downstairs in the bathroom. It is a strong position. However, you need to reinforce the sidewall, and he's just going to fall back, I guess, because not enough time to set up with his reinforcements.
Once again, there's no focus from members only on that second floor, which is something that we have seen, you know, even when they were attacking, or even when they were defending lobby. Oh, this is long range here, but unable to shoot through the metal beams. That's Ghost not able to take out the yokai, and Gavin will lose one, so he's still got one available to him. Pagos, I don't exactly know what the mute was doing, but that's an easy kill for Neptunes to be able to secure upstairs. So I take that back. Members only did have a body that worked towards the top of the stairs, up on Visa, possibly a late rotate, and now where the corpse of the mute lay, Synced won't be too far off, hoping to possibly catch a member of Elephant Gang off guard. Synced is just sitting there waiting, carbine looking all the way towards the top, and he could possibly get out-dueled if one of the many ACOGs that are available from Elephant Gang do decide to turn and look in that direction. But for the time being, it appears that E-Gang is falling off, and that could end up being a pretty big factor later in this round if that Jaeger of Synced goes unnoticed.
Yeah, and you need him for the later round hold, but that's the thing. Having the Legion or the Vigil is a much better pick if you're going to play this, because the impacts hold you quite a bit. And Dokkaebi, does she hear him? He definitely does hear her. I'm not sure if you heard the drop there. Synced has an idea of what's going on, but the cameras are now hacked and are in the hands of E-Gang. So they can use them to their advantage. Unfortunately, obviously, the yokais do not apply.
Oh, this is possibly huge here, though, for Synced, but he'll just miss. Milo so close. Trippin unable to land the shots needed. Both he and Synced very low on HP, and there you go, the phone call. The Jaeger will have to stop at some point. K9 just pushing up the stairs and phone being silenced, but K9 gets an easy kill there. It's going to leave just Timsy and Wicked left, and there goes Timsy, leaving Wicked with 45 seconds to contend against the rising tides of Elephant Gang. And, well, there goes another logic bomb. He tosses down a Toxic Babe, and Neptunes, who did so great that round, will give the E-Gang 3 of those 5 rounds through the attack on Consulate, and now we'll pivot with them changing sides and going to defense.
Yeah, it was a bit of an odd style of play here for members only. I think they wanted to replay the same aggressive playstyle that they had in the previous round. and had the Mute plus the Jaeger to play together on the back stairs to hold off against somebody coming in from the top floor or possibly get a late flank, which is what the Jaeger was looking for. Unfortunately, he kind of pounced too early and wasn't able to get anything out of it except for his death. So you weren't able to delete any utility off your opponents. They never spotted you, but you got too aggressive. You couldn't get anything out of it. You lose a member, and then you lose a second one on the site. Well, what can you do? Not much, unfortunately. So it might get very complicated here for members only because Elephant Gang's defense is fairly efficient. I want to see if members only can fix the mistakes that we saw on our very first map. If not, then it'll be complicated to bring back. Members only definitely show that they have the ability to take wins, but not with mistakes being done like that.
Yeah, the defensive play from members only across the board, I think, has looked stronger so far today, which is exactly what you're mentioning. And if they can't be able to get that coordination down that is required of them, especially against a team in Elephant Gang who have been playing very, very loose off-site with at least 1 to 2 members, then that's not going to bode well for their chances at all. And Neptune's here able to toss out a camera and gather some information, seeing if he landed it correctly. Yeah, it's good enough, and he'll be able to go back. Admin control, once again, will likely be the focus point for any of the entry that we have, and a bit of an issue getting their drones in over and over again, as there you have the bodies stacked up, and already it does look like there's more droning being done from members only than we saw in Clubhouse. That's very important here because you can't clear from the top down on console when you're attacking console office necessarily. You can clear the areas before you entry, which is exactly what we're having here. Very little presence on the admin side of things, as is typical from Elephant Gang, and you know, Pagos just going right in. That's very easy for them to be able to take that ground away. The real point is going to be, what are they able to do around long desk, and are their attacks going to be as, you know, single dimension as we saw out of Elephant Gang, when Elephant Gang were just stacking up over on the Visa side of things at the top of stairs and forcing members only to have to push out and then catch them in the rotate.
This is a setup that works very well though with the operators for members only. You can just chuck in EMPs, take down any utility, and really any cameras, any yokai drones that are set in and around that A site. They have the Ying, because we were mentioning the Ying in the ban phase, that it is through, and this thing just walks into K9, I guess. Nobody's checking for anybody on the rotation. There's still the Ying peeking in from the middle, trying to take down K9, but he has all the information that is needed because the IQ didn't use her utility to try and shut things down and find the angle on that yokai. Neptunes will connect with the C4, taking down yet a second one. That's Timsy out of play. And Gavin, low on health, gets shot down by Avon, playing all the way in the back with that UMP. Comboing with the MP5. Wicked inside. Usually you're looking for the Zofia to play from the outside. Unfortunately, not enough manpower for members only, as the yokai is still up. The hole that's opened up by the long desk is not big enough to hold and contest the smoke. It is going to be fairly complex to go through, as Ghost will get one more. Last alive here is Wicked, and he's just going to hold the angle in the copy room, and there's not really much that he can do. He's got lifelines, but everything's reinforced, and Neptune's running in for the kill. Got a bit of damage done to the Zofia, but takes quite a bit himself. He'll walk away, find the Jaeger, and Wicked will pull his aim away at the last second. Gets tagged through the wall by the gas canister, and that's Ghost coming in to finish things off. I guess they're toy. Don't play with your food, people. Don't play with your food. Make sure you wipe your plate clean. And there you go. That's our Polish operator Zofia falling at the end. What can I say about the round? Mistakes all over.
A couple things there that really looked similar and then a little bit different from what we saw at Elephant Gang when they were attacking console upstairs was that, yes, once again, all of these teams, both these teams seem to have a major aversion to attacking from the console side of things. There's been no presence from any teams on top of yellow stairs, either in actual person or on top of the skylight. There's been nobody hanging out on the console office windows. There's been nobody contesting the connector window either. The sole way that this is played out is take control of admin, get in towards the top of Visa stairs, wait, try to provoke a fight down the end of long desk in towards that.
Pray to God you win them.
Pray to God you win that. Try to take a fight into that small little lobby office that's there underneath the default cam. Possibly bathroom, and that's it. And there was a lot of information that was being given by K9 from E-Gang. He was able to help get the call onto Neptunes to throw the C4 up, take out the Hibana who's playing inside a copier. As K9 read that there was presence in copier, it's very easy to get a C4 that's able to have a large enough radius to kill somebody playing in there. And then K9, of course, playing all the way at the other end of the hall, able to take those battles with the ACOG all the way to long desk. And the IQ and the Ying came very, very close. The IQ lost her life, the Ying close as well. And even when it was a 2v4, and it was a possibly winnable situation, the smoke completely stopped the push from the Ying. You heard the Candelas go off, wasted utility because the smoke kept them in place, and they couldn't rotate to long desk because, number one, K9 was able to shoot out all but 2 of the XKros. And then 2, they couldn't push to long desk because they still knew that K9 hadn't been taken out playing with the ACOG that far away, and there was the constant looming threat. Essentially meaning that your only way to push in at that point was to try to go through the doorway into projector from top of Visa stairs, and that was a death sentence as those smokes were going off.
And that's the thing. Why was there nobody on the balcony? There's a reason why you banned the Glaz and the Blackbeard. Because those are 2 operators that are great, especially Blackbeard, to hold off the windows there. But Zofia is also a very tough opponent to play against when she gets on that balcony, because what can we really do against the M762? It does a lot of damage, and all she has to do is just lob equipment inside of the room. The smoke will not survive for long if there's somebody still up there. You had the IQ to take down the Yokai drone. You also had the Ying combo to move into the site if you really needed to deal with the smoke in a different play. You had the Hibana as well that can open up the holes. Everything was in your favor in terms of operators. Theoretically, you have the advantage. Unfortunately, this is where the experience wins out, and this is how Elephant Gang are able to get the round by just, you know, confusing members only and them hurting themselves in their confusion.
Now, I don't know if the drones are picking up on this. It's being alerted to us, but it's not something that's readily available to members only unless they've done the work that is needed with their drones. There's 0 map control outside of the bottom of Spiral Stairs for Elephant Gang right now. This whole area is wide open for the taking of members only. Piano, now Avian has posted up onto Yellow Stairs. He's in a position where he's going to take a fight. He's going to see one, tries to connect with the second, can't get all the shots off. Wicked will shut him down after Gavin falls. So they'll lose the Thatcher, but not quite as detrimental as losing either the Sledge or even possibly the Hibana. So that overall is a victory for Elephant Gang, but at the same time ends up being a trade. And Wicked losing a lot of damage. Taking care of that Sledge and that soft destruction over Piano would have been huge because, as we said, Elephant Gang are very deeply ensconced in and around the staff area. That's an easy kill for Synced onto Neptunes. They'll lose the Valkyrie, and now Trippin is tagged as this Iron Man seems to continue sending one person out after another. And he'll manage to edge his way around the Claymore, and he's also got the drop opened up, possibly if required. He's going to work over towards Yellow Stairs.
Yeah, and one thing about the Claymore placement is that all it takes is one laser to tag you and it'll blow up. So there's a bit better positioning that could be done in that, but still Pagos will have to run in, but he spots the smokes, tries to go for the plant inside of the smoke, and gets taken down by Ghost. An easy kill there, a free one, and talking about freebies, Trippin will get yet another one on Wicked that was already tagged in the past. The Hibana had opened up a couple holes here to try to move in, but it's Synced to go down just on his own into the site, and Trippin finds the last one. Not enough space here to play with, and unfortunately, this member's only falling yet again. E-Gang playing this one carefully and, well, perfectly. Whenever they saw the opportunity, let's rotate the Bandit. Let's push the Jaeger. And
I think it's worth noting that members-only strats have looked better on Consulate than on Clubhouse, which is interesting because unless I've written it down incorrectly, Consulate is Elephant Gang's map and members-only's map was Clubhouse. So it's funny how that tends to change. I mean, it could just be that maybe, you know, as we noted earlier on, members only is more familiar on the more commonly played maps. Consulate's been around a lot longer than this newly redone Clubhouse. Consulate doesn't have as much of a shakeup as we saw from Clubhouse as of late. So that could be something that's playing into it. But really more than anything, members only has looked better on this entire map. But still, one big takeaway that hasn't really been addressed, they're just not winning their gunfights. Time and time again, they are not able to land their shots. And Elephant Gang haven't been the best marksmen either. There have been a number of opportunities for them to be able to get an early pick, and they've missed.
Avian especially.
It's been, I think, a couple from K9 jump to mind as well, where he squandered an opportunity to get an opening kill and kind of crack the round open. But other than that, overall here on Consulate, there have been a lot of misses from members only. How much of that you can chalk up to just simply not being as proficient mechanically as Elephant Gang? Who knows? But also how much of it is nerves. If this is the biggest spotlight that members only has ever had, there's certainly a level of anxiousness that I'm sure is playing into this. Going up against a team that's well practiced, that's quite experienced, and then on top of that, this might be the only opportunity for members only to play on a stage this large, and at least for the time being, as of late, or as of now, and if that's the case, obviously there's some nerves involved there.
Yeah.
And when you're losing your gunfights as routinely as they have been, that's going to be problematic.
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously the beauty of having more and more national tournaments, especially with the USN, is that you can get this fresh blood in to play against the more seasoned players. But if members only have been around for a while, this affects the morale, because these are players that are very well known, very famous for what they've done in the past. So maybe you're a fan of a few of these players, and the level of respect might come back to bite you, because you would not be expecting to be playing against, for some people, maybe your idols. Maybe it's not the case here, but it has happened in the past. Definitely something to keep in mind because it's not something that would happen quite often, especially as you mentioned, probably the biggest stage they've played on here, members only. You're not really used to playing as this sort of organized style of play. And Avian, yet again on the Echo, will play it in a similar position that we saw just a bit before, and it's the Ying being eliminated early on. A lot of damage done into members only. One player down at synced. No more IQ. Avian taking a lot of damage in the back, but it's Timsy to refrag, taking down the Jaeger. Afraid of more pushes. Ghost will use one more canister, but he peeks in, he gets one, but it's a trade from Gavin to turn it into a 3v3. Wicked low on health, but it's a cleanup from K9, and Gavin's on the opposite end as that's Diffuser on the floor, and Neptunes will find the last two headshots to clean things up for Elephant Gang, and there you go. They'll take this map number 2, 6-2, with a total of 12 rounds to the 2 of members only. Members only had a few rounds where they could have taken as well, but mistakes crop up here and there. It's still not done for members only. There is still the wild card stage that they can qualify into and play to get to that final stage, final stage for USN. So I can't wait until the announcement's live. I wonder where we'll be going for that. But